We have another one that's kind of not kind of. It's been rumbling, especially today. And as of now, we don't know the full results of everything yet. But we're talking about college football realignment. As we know out there, the big thing about realignment was that right now is all eyes on the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 or the Pac-9 now, as you want to call it.
Pac-2, for all we know. The way
Yeah.
this is going, man.
Yeah, so everybody's looking at that. We saw Colorado defect last week, right? And then we had an emergency meeting right away after that, by the ADs and presidents, and they've demanded George Kliavkoff, or the Pac-12 commissioner, to show what deals are on the table. And there was an emergency meeting again for Tuesday today in the morning, he presented, and I think the rumors are it's very heavily based incentive on subscribers, maybe,
Subscribers
because it's got, so the deal that he provided. I guess there's been conflicting reports, but I think it's either that he presented a couple deals and the Apple deal was the best one that was out there, or he just presented just the Apple deal, which was the best one regardless that was out there, and it would be Apple Plus TV would be on, right, the Pac-12. It would be on that, and then it would be. I mean, the thing is that so it would be
subscription.
Yeah, it would be a subscription. So that's what it would be. There would be a base pay per each school, right? And then there would be what do you call it? Accelerators or whatever. Like if you have X amount of subscribers, you get this quarter, we're going to pay you $10 more per subscriber, or some, or $1 more per every subscriber, something like that.
Okay.
And that's more money added to the pot for the thing. So if you're like really popular, really big, then yeah, maybe, having those in there for more subscribers is actually a good way to go, right? So, but right now, it's Pac-12 is looking for stability, and you got to be. The Big 12 is at a 31 million per range right now, right? They're saying the rumor that the Apple deal was like 22 million or something like that per school, but then they bring in more schools to get them half shares, so they can add more school money to the legacy programs in there, so they'll get closer to 27, 28 million, right? Where it wouldn't be maybe worth a move to a different conference at that time. But then again, and then there's just the accelerators maybe on top of that. So the details are still murky. Like nobody knows what it is. Some reporters have come. It seems like there has been kind of consensus that they do want to get a deal done, though. Which yesterday I didn't think so. It looked like all Arizona had an emergency board meeting for later today.
Oh boy,
scheduled. So everyone was assuming it was gonna be the deal. Then they're gonna leave. They're gonna see the deal, right? Haven't heard any news about what happened to the Arizona one, but it seems like coming out of that early morning Pac-12 thing, it seems like a lot of people are saying that there was no deal like 100% like approved or whatever right at the point, but they were saying that it could be it was due because I don't think all presidents have the right to approve an immediate deal, so they have to go back to their boards of regents to get that approval, and then they can come back, and then there's another meeting that's supposed to be scheduled. So my thing is, if you did a meeting right now, and then the numbers sucked and people were going to defect, I don't think you would have scheduled another meeting, or you don't want to schedule another meeting. You would have come out with that. Okay, and that next meeting, I think it would just be like we would hear Arizona. We would have been hearing Arizona's gone, and then we would have heard that news by now that they're gone.
All right, so we know for a fact USC, UCLA, Colorado
gone.
End of 2024.
Yep,
basically end of the season. They're gone.
This last season. Yep.
All right, so Arizona sounds like Arizona State and Arizona, or just one of those two schools?
So Arizona is the likely, like what everybody's rumored by them to jump the conference to the Big 12, because they are a basketball school mainly, and Big sense. 12 has very good basketball programs, so that's why it might make some sense there for them. But I think that what's really tying them up is that I think they might be attached to Arizona State. Arizona State is not going to make a quick move.
Are they good in any sport? Arizona State?
They're the ups and downs. They are called the sleeping giant, meaning they should be really good, but they never are actually that good.
Baseball or softball or something?
Yeah, baseball. I think they're always probably one of those sports, right? Yeah. They're probably really good at it. But I mean, they should be like you would think. Phoenix, yeah, everybody wants to go to Phoenix. It should be a pretty happy town. Yeah. It should be a sleeping giant, as they call it, should be like a program that should be killing it for especially where it's based out of, but they never do it, really. But anyways, they're attached to kind of Arizona, and they don't want to move, so Arizona might be stuck because of that a little bit, right? They might hit the snag, but it's rumored that the Big 12 really wants to, grab Arizona State, and Utah. All right, those are the ones, right?
So if those schools are gone, what are the three? If it still continues to be the Pac-12, what are the 4 schools you think would take?
Well, I think regardless, we got to look at right now. Even let's say if Arizona stays and Arizona's like we keep those 9, you still got to look at adding SMU first. I think is the buyout's really cheap to go, and then you got to figure out a way to get San Diego State in.
Is it St. Martin's University?
No, they're we got Southern Methodist University. Yeah. So
Texas.
Yeah, Dallas. Okay. So you're gonna get the Dallas market.
Okay.
And that's a lot of TVs.
Big boys.
Yeah. That's a lot of TVs. So that helps the TV contract.
Yeah.
San Diego has 1 million TVs. Because remember, when you lose the LA Marcus, you lose 5 million TVs.
Yeah.
Or I think it's 5 million, right? So Dallas itself is big, just as big as that, right? I think. But I don't know if you get the full Dallas or the Fort Worth side of it, but it's still a good amount you get with SMU. And then you get San Diego, which is like a little over 1 million TVs. So you're adding some stuff back that way to the pack. So I think you're going to have to add those 2 in regardless of, if anybody else leaves. Now, let's say those other teams do leave. I mean, the rumor there is like, there's a rumor, or one thing I think about is that with Oregon and Washington is that they're kind of biding their time a little bit for the Big Ten.
They're the two big other schools that are still in the conference.
Yeah. So they're kind of looking, the Big Ten, but the Big Ten doesn't want to expand right now. That might not be till next round, or they're waiting for Notre Dame first to jump, and then they will look at, Washington and Oregon and any other schools, right? But at this point, like it could be the point where the Big Ten also doesn't want to, I guess, quote unquote, have the Pac-12's blood on their hands. Like they're the ones that killed the conference because they took UCLA, USC, right? And now the fours leave, and now they go take Oregon, Washington, and they kill the conference totally. So if they see the 4 schools, like the corner schools, do jump to the Big 12, right? Then at that point, maybe it's like, oh well, the conference is already teetering. We can go in and get Oregon and Washington at a really good discount. They're going to come in now full shares, like they're going to still get like 30 million or something like that, like just like the Big 12 number, but they're going to be in the Big 10, right? That would be the thing, right? So that could be it. And at that point, I guess that's what we're saying. And Stanford could go with them. Cal maybe could go with them. You never know with Cal. If there's, because that's the Bay Area market, which is big, right?
Yeah.
So my thing at this point, and I think a lot of people always end up like, well, then it really sucks for Oregon State and Washington State, right? Because they're going to be left behind. Yeah. And they'll be in the Pac-2, right? Or what you want to call it at that point, right? Or I gotta call it the Tupac, right?
Yeah,
so I say if we are Tupac, we sit with the 2 teams. We go with Tupac, and we play each other. The Beavers and Cougs, we play each other a couple times.
50% chance of being the champions.
Yeah. So we do that though. But I say we do that, but we always each of us always go and get we play the best teams in every other conference every year, like body bag games to get you more money. Yeah. And we call our schedule Death Row, right? Tupac Death Row, right there, man.
So of the schools that are you think would be able to come to the Pac-12, do you think WSU has a chance of beating them?
Yeah. So I think where we got to look at it here with Oregon State and Washington State is it's really easy for a lot of people to say, well, Oregon State and Washington State are going to do good in the Mountain West. Yeah. It's pretty much Mountain West. Mountain West would come to Pac-12, or you keep the Pac name, right? And the Mountain West would go there, right? Or whatever, right?
Pac West.
Pac West, yeah, whatever you want to call it. But you think, oh, well, they should do really good there. They'll probably be the big dogs there, right? But the thing is, WSU donors are not good donors. So I fear we'd be at the bottom of, because we're not gonna have the TV money to hire the coaches we've been hiring and all that, and we're in debt already. I think we'd probably teeter to the bottom of the G5, or what do you want to call that league would be, right? We probably bottom teeter on that, and then you probably see sports get cut. I hope the athletic department doesn't default because we have a lot of loans and we don't have TV money to back it up. Yeah, I think Oregon State's probably in a similar situation where that could happen to them too. They wouldn't be able to keep like Johnson Smith, their coach right now. He'd probably be paid somewhere else to go, and they'd be in the same boat as us. I think their donors donate better than ours though, but they're not like crazy donating a lot, right? Either they probably had the same problem as well, I would think, right? Unfortunately,
which would be crazy to think WSU not having an athletic program. They would just be back to agricultural school, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our medical school and everything now too. I mean,
architecture, medical. I think are the two biggest programs out in WSU.
Nursing's not bad. Nursing, pharmacy too. Pharmacy is big
at the Spokane campus, right?
Yeah,
the sister campus.
Yep. So those, So I mean, that would probably happen in those ones. But I mean, I think the way we're going to go down to is, let's just say, if Utah and them all do, Utah defect. I don't think Utah's going to defect, but I think if Utah defects, would Arizona's defect? Those three will go to Colorado. So we lose 4 schools plus the USC, right? 6 total. So we left with 6. I don't think Oregon and UW, they might not still go to the Big Ten. Big Ten might be still waiting next time. So what they would do was that they would just, and Oregon, especially UW, values being tied to Stanford and Cal, academic wise, especially. So I think they would want to maintain that and keep all of us together. And do we just backfill with UNLV, San Diego State, and a lot of those Mountain West schools? You'd say we just do that for this round and see where it goes the next round with it, right?
Man, if Oregon and UW stay, then I can't see us winning the championship.
Yeah, I mean that.
Sadly, I want to say yes, but the way we've performed in the past few years, it's
gotta trust Dicker, man. Gotta trust Dicker, man.
You've been trying, man.
I trust him.
You just got to get past the apple cup, man.
We did, yeah. We gotta do that.
That hump, man.
Yeah. So I think the thing is that we would probably stick to my thing is saying, if worst comes to worst, though, the way I look at it, and not a lot of people mention this, but I've talked on Twitter with Bob Thompson, who's a former Fox executive who does deals like this and did do it with the Pac, like these different conferences, so he knows the inside of that.
Yeah.
When you're looking at like these schools, like UW, they bring Seattle market, they're big in their brand Seattle market. Okay, Stanford, they're not really that. I mean, they're brand, like Cal's a brand, but I mean, they're not football passionate, but they have the Bay Area market, so that's a big draw that they want, like that kind of stuff. So a lot of people think, well, Oregon State and Washington State are not in metro areas, so they don't, like, Washington State's TV market, Spokane market, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I asked Bob Thompson, he's like, no, the executives know when you talk WSU, you're talking Seattle as well. They understand there's
a lot of fans over here.
Yeah, so they understand that. So I think a lot of the fans in the forums, especially with the Big 12, that side, they don't understand that part of it. That the TV execs do understand that. So my thing is, if the Big 10 does come in and steal Oregon and Washington, then I think at that point, if I'm the Big 12 and ESPN is backing the Big 12 up, Fox just took Seattle and the Portland or the Washington market, all the Washington markets and all of the Oregon markets with UW and Oregon. So it's like, do you guys want to be in there? Locked out? And they probably want to be in because those are big markets, like those states, especially Washington, right? So who's going to get you that market then? The Cougs, Oregon State. That's money that ESPN would probably want to be back on the West Coast and in those markets. So we would be valuable at that point. And then if you look at the viewership as well, us and Oregon State, we outrank, I think, every single, at least almost every single Big 12 team already in viewerships.
Yeah, and you even see it when you ever go to College Game Day. You see the WSU flag always at every game day in the background and stuff like that. So the fans are dedicated. They're willing to travel and bring that flag state to state.
So for me personally, I think if you're looking at WSU and Oregon State, I think Oregon State WSU will be fine to probably be in the Big 12 would be my prediction, as long as Oregon and UW don't go to the Big 12.
Yeah.
If Oregon and UW end up going to the Big 12, which I don't see them doing it, then we are definitely Mountain West or do Pac-12 Mountain West thing. Then we're stuck there. That's the most disastrous scenario. Again, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But that would be it.
It just sounds weird saying,
Yeah. But I think
Mountain West.
I really think that if you see defections, I really think right now at this point, if we would have seen Arizona already defect now before that meeting, we would have heard stuff. Them having another meeting tells me that the deal is not like there's some kind of a deal there that everyone might be happy with or would be get on board with.
Yep.
So and that's why they're having a second meeting. So hopefully that we will get a deal done and we'll lose, which sucks to LA schools. That sucks. And then Colorado, I mean, if we're looking at money wise, and we can backfill Denver with Colorado State.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So out of the Mountain West. Right. So, and So that might be, the school we look at now is Colorado State, San Diego State, and SMU, right? Those might be the teams we backfill with, right?
So it'll be interesting next. Hopefully we'll hear something, within the next few months, because it's tough to have that lingering above your head when you're going into the college football season and having that
at this point
known.
Yeah, at this point, there's no way you can go. We gotta get a resolution one way or another in the next week or two.
Yeah,
no more past. I would say in this week, in a week, we'd have to have a resolution.
Definitely can't hear more news at the end of the season, because then it's already in an array when it comes to that stuff.
So my thing is, I hate college realignment. I think it's bad in general. The LA schools, the Big Ten, that does not make sense. It's
just a big demographic between the two. You know what I mean? Like different
fucking
locations.
Kevin Warren, dude. Comes he wants to be NFL commish. He can't be NFL commish. He comes down and becomes Big Ten commish. Tries to make it and wants to make it an NFL model. Mm-hmm. So he steals LA, right? And he's trying to make it into a big super league where everybody watches his league. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, I'm like, this is a stupid plan, because you might have some big brands with those things, and you're going to kick these other schools out of this league, or potentially later on in the playoffs when you make it just between you and the SEC, probably. Yeah. At that point, people are not going to pick. I'm not going to randomly be like, oh, hey, you know what? I am now an Oregon fan, or I am now watching. Nobody's going to do it. You didn't go to school there. You don't have tie there. Those people are going to be like, hey, I'm going to spend more time on the Seahawks. I have time on Saturday now. Or open Saturday. Yep. It's like, and I just root harder for my Seahawks then at that point, right? And I think it's going to backfire on them, that they see that the more they make it smaller, like into these super leagues, and if they minimize the playoff access, it's going to backfire. I think there's going to be a lot of less people watching college football then. I mean, there'll be maybe a lot more exciting matchups every week, but then again, those college matchups are exciting a lot of times, these big ones, because you don't see it as much.
Yeah. You see it every year.
Then it gets boring.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a bowl game.
Yeah, it's boring. That's what I was saying. Like, if you saw like USC versus Ohio State, now you'd be like, before you heard, oh man, that's a big game. I gotta watch that game.
Yep.
Because they never play each other.
Yeah, it's like now they're 5 ranked team versus
but now they're playing every year. That's like a whatever. That's gonna be another game.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be that exciting. But maybe the first 2 years, people watch it. Oh, it's kind of cool. They're playing it. But then after a while, it's like it's just another Big Ten team, right? It's not exciting like how it was whenever it's a different division going ahead. This heavyweight going against this one heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
So I think that will hopefully backfire on him. But anyways, Kevin Warren came in, did that stuff, and he wanted to keep expanding and make it bigger. And the presidents told him no, and then he got mad, and then he took the Vikings president's thing. So he came in, bombed the Pac-10 after he told George, I have alliance with you, backstabs him, takes LA, didn't get what he wanted, bombed the Pac-12 where it is right now, and he left. Got out of town. Got out of Dodge.
Chasing that money. That's
what
he's doing, man.
So no, fuck you, Kevin Warren.
Gotta give him that bully beat down.
Yeah, if I ever see you.
So I'm on the streets.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. You're not gonna see me.
Man, just tell him don't cross that line.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. Yeah. I'll let you say it. So, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what's gonna happen. Right now, I'm hoping we stick together. Pac-12 sticks together what they have, expand with some teams. And then, because again, going back to the whole thing, I didn't want the Big 12 to collapse. I'm glad they didn't, because we could have poached them, which we didn't, right? Then we could have killed their league. And but I feel now like the Big 12 people are way more hyper wanting our brand to die in the Pac-12, and it's kind of like, yo, what the hell? Like, you guys were in the same situation. Like, nobody was kicking your grave as much. And then there was a few reporters making fun of it a little bit with them, but it wasn't as much as they were doing now to the Pac-12, like, which is hyper, like, obsession at this point. But
I mean, they're not really necessarily all winning championships over there in the Big 12, so it's.
I mean, they were a good basketball conference. Can't deny that. But I mean, football wise, I mean, they had it was a TCU was a good story, but they got stomped in the playoffs when they made it there, which might have shows you kind of the league they were playing and how strong they really were.
Exactly.
If you go undefeated, if you go undefeated in that league, it's not that impressive, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, they did well. They got into the playoffs, which says, and even the rankings, were they like 4th ranked, even though they're like undefeated, or at least had one loss, sort of season and stuff. So, but.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, though. I'm just gonna be excited to talk college football and actually football. I don't want to talk about media deals anymore. So, so over that. So, we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there, though, man. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah.